My next interview is with Mark Gavart. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Tell me the name of your show.
It's Labor Radio, and I have been a 30-year union member. And when I started looking at the programming that was happening, I realized that there wasn't anything. And Eric Mulberg, in his infinite wisdom, he knew me and my background. He said, hey, would you want to do a show talking about workers' rights, unions, union representation, things like that? And I said, let's do this. And so it's kind of built from there. But I'd known him from before when I did a cable access TV show in the late 80s and early 90s. He and I had gotten together and did a bunch of things. So I got to know him.
Okay.
So he brought up the idea of the radio station to me when it was in its infancy. So I got to be there at the ground floor. So I was very excited about that. I'm still very excited about it. And it's a once-a-month show, so it's just that one hot hour.
When you designed Labor Radio, what did you see? What was the outline?
Just telling people's working life story. There's always something you can talk about that's current in the news that someone would say, oh, these people are having a wage issue or a benefit issue or a problem with their employer. But what you could always talk about is the person who was a teacher for 40 years. What was it like to be a teacher in 1970 when you first started? And work with those folks and talk to them and listen to their story, understand where their life is. I find it very interesting. It's almost stealing a page from Studs Terkel in his book Working, talking to working people about their working life.
Has it evolved from the initial plan or the initial blueprint?
Yeah, it has, because my schedule, I work 6 and 7 days a week, makes it difficult for me to get with people to sit down and do interviews. Okay. So I have evolved into, I have a few interviews here and there I do, and I catch somebody for 15 or 20 minutes, use that, or I'm just giving up-to-date information of things that are going on all over the United States that are labor-related, and I'll just use those things in the interim for not having a chance to actually interview a person.
How do you get your interviews?
I have just people I seek out. I just bump into people at the strangers. I know no strangers.
Okay.
Which is a good way to have it. And then you bump into someone. I carry a digital recorder with me. It's always in the car or in my lunchbox, and I sit down with someone, and I'll take 15 minutes of their time. Oh, I don't have anything important to say. In 15 minutes, you'd be surprised what you can get out of them.
I know.
And you can, and it works well. It kind of just builds on itself.
Who is your target audience, Mark?
Just people who are interested in knowing more about what they could do to have a representative person in their place to be a union representative, or to what's it going to take to be represented by a union. What would the benefits be if I did do this? Obviously, I talk about politics, because politics, you can't take that out of the workplace if there's people who are against unions and there's people who are for unions. So I've chosen the side of being for unions, and so there's always someone who's against us, so there's always a very lively talk that you can have about that subject.
But this being
it's a right-to-work state.
Yeah. Is that a difficult topic to get people to talk about?
Not usually, because you can easily find someone who's either against it or for it.
Okay.
There is no real in between. If you go talk to someone that works for the Chamber of Commerce, they do not like unions. They think unions are the scourge of the earth, and they hurt things and they get in the way. I could go talk to those folks and hear their opinion if I wanted to. They have the bully pulpit already. They have everybody in all the media in town. Why would I want to go talk to any of them? I want to go talk to the worker who's struggling at $11 an hour, trying to put gas in the car, feed 2 babies, keep a roof over his family's head at $11 an hour. You can't do that at 40 hours a week. And they end up having a second and third job. Those are the folks I want to help and lift up.
As I'm sitting here, I'm thinking there may be people who want to talk about that, but their voices are, how do you say?
They're drowned out.
Recognize that they want to talk about that, but they dare not talk about that.
Well, especially in their workplace. And they don't want their face seen because they're afraid of some reprisal at their workplace. They want the help. They know what they need to do, but they can't take that step because they can't go without. And the management team who they work with understand that fully and know that they can just scare them a little bit, and they're going to come back to work again next week and forget about that silly idea.
Right. What is the creative flavor of your show?
Just whatever comes along at that moment. I'm pretty freelance. The idea behind it is let's talk about and give voice to those that don't have a place to stand and have their voice heard. So I want to push that and help those folks.
Have you considered what emotion you want to ignite or catch or cause fire?
The biggest thing for me is I want to say something that resonates with someone, then they are inspired by that and want to do something If they either contact me, I can help them, or I can get them in contact with someone who can help them. So my would be inspiration to do something for themselves.
This is a final question. What does community radio mean to you?
Community radio is the voice of those who wouldn't have a voice. If I went and said to someone at a small radio station, hey, I want to say these things, you can't. That doesn't fit our programming. Here at Community Radio, my idea fits programming.
Thank you so much. This is Mark Gavart of Labor Radio. Thank you.